Hi everyone, welcome back to Still Khmer. Today for episode 2, we're going to dive into the Khmer language. Who's excited? Yay! To start off the episode, I'd like to introduce a segment that I guess I came up with, but that Julie and Borey are going to be victims to, which is called Say It in Khmer. Okay, so basically we know how like some words in Khmer don't translate to English and some words in English don't translate into Khmer. So for example, if I say like pick coconut, in Khmer it's beh dong, but it doesn't translate to pick coconut. It translates to heart. So basically, I'm just gonna give you like that weird English thing. So like I say pick coconuts, and then like Bori will say like beh dong, and then Julie can translate it to English for our viewers. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so I only have like 10, and I start off with an easy one. Frozen water.
Cực có.
It means ice.
I feel like I'm torturing you. This is better. Oh, I think this is gonna be tough. Heel turn.
A what now? Wait, what?
Peel, turn, or peel, change. Just like go by syllable, not syllable, go by word and like translate it to Khmer.
I'm stumped.
Okay,
Julie,
if
can you
you
do
bought, if you I gave the word, if you peel a banana, it's called
Bo.
okay,
it?
and then
Okay.
like if you change something,
Do.
Bọ đố.
no, the other word. If someone changes, like they're no longer the same person.
Prai.
Yeah. So what is
Oh,
what fry?
Oh,
Bo
bo
prai.
prai.
Oh my god.
Oh
How
my
do you come up
god.
with this
I
stuff?
don't know. I don't know. Throw, pants, shirt.
Bó khao áo.
But then the other word for throw. Like throw something on the
Bao.
ground.
Yeah, throw is not the right word.
It's like
Bao
if
cao.
yeah, about if you like smash something. Or you're so done with
Okay.
me. I'm sorry. Okay, well I'll only do like two more because I feel like this is oh. Water bee.
Tật móng.
Oh my god. That means honey.
Nice. Um oh my god. Fur eye.
Rôm phnéc.
Eyelash.
Yay!
I
Okay.
think I forgot to translate bao cao.
Oh no, I think you did. You were like, do laundry?
Laundry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, I dropped the ball. I had one job.
It's okay. Well, I hope that was an icebreaker because it sure broke my heart. It like broke my brain. I was like,
I don't know why it was actually hard.
it was
It was
really,
hard.
was it?
I like forgot all the words I knew.
But
It's
see, I
okay.
think this is why we're doing this episode, this language episode, just because the word throw, there's two ways we can say throw in Khmer. So let
Ooh.
let's talk about language in this episode and the complexity of it all.
Yeah, sounds great.
So I'm gonna start. I think it would make sense to start our language episode by talking about how like who we are when we speak Khmer versus like who we are when we speak English. So I was born and raised in Cambodia, um, and then I moved to the US when I was 13. And so I feel like my personality is kind of split between like when I speak Khmer, I'm like a completely different person, and then when I speak English, I'm like a completely different person. And then also how I behave in Cambodia is also very different from like how I behave in the US. So when I speak Khmer, I think I don't feel self-conscious. I don't really care what people think. I also don't feel the need to like speak up or speak at all, like if I don't want to. Like just very confident because it's like my language. But then when I speak English, I think I'm more like outgoing. I feel like I need to talk more, even when I don't feel like I don't feel like I want to because I don't know. I My impression of Americans might be wrong, but I thought like Americans are very warm, very like open about stuff. And so I when I came to the US, I like tried to be like that as well. And also I feel like really insecure whenever I speak English. Less so now. But it's not my first like it's not my native language. I learned it when I came here. And so yeah, I feel insecure when I speak English and like I second guess myself a lot.
Oh, boring.
So I think a smooth transition would be to ask Thida about your experience because you also were born and raised in Cambodia. Granted, you came to the US earlier, but you still were born and raised in Cambodia for like 9 years. So
Yeah.
how's your experience?
Yeah, and I really feel like those 9 years were formative, more so than like my later childhood here in the US. But if it makes you feel better, I am self-conscious in both languages. I'm self-conscious when
Oh,
I speak both languages too. So, um, in English, I feel like I'm more outgoing. I personally feel more comfortable speaking English than I do when I speak Khmer. Probably because I use it more every day. I use it in school, at work, when talking to friends, and I only really speak Khmer to like my mom, my family when I'm interpreting and stuff. And I think I'm fortunate in that I still hold on to a lot of Khmer, but it still is effortful, basically, when I speak Khmer. This is funny, but like I feel like when I speak English, I have a different struggle, which is over pronouncing or like over emphasizing my words. And an example is like when I say big words, like I really have to like focus on saying the big words, and then it's like followed by a slight pause, like my brain is like rebooting. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like constantly like googling or like translating new words because there to this day are still like new English words that I don't know. And I also have a hard time with my R's in both languages. So in English,
mm,
oh my god, this is going to be I'm exposing myself, but I can't say like rural. I can't say February. um I don't know if that's just like a me problem. Lol. And I can't
I
say
think it's
like,
hard. It's
is it
hard.
hard? Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't say rural, February. I can barely say library. Basically, the R's are hard. And then in Khmer, sometimes I roll my R's wrong. So yeah,
Example.
Wow.
it turns into a D. Like if I wanted to say like Nuri, sometimes I get away with by saying like Nuri. Like it really sounds like I'm saying D instead of Ri.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think my tongue is just weird. But yeah, anyway, that's just me.
Oh.
My struggles with both languages.
Julie.
Yeah. So I mentioned in our trailer, I think, that I was born and raised in the US. But I've been back to Cambodia about like 4 times. My first time I went back was when I was 4 years old, and that's when I learned to speak Khmer for the first time. Um, and I basically learned Khmer because my grandmother came to live with us in the US after that trip. Like, we took that trip to bring her back to the US. And so I grew up with my grandmother. She basically raised me while my parents were busy working. And so I had to learn to speak Khmer in order to communicate with her. And I'm very thankful for that. Um, but yeah, and so similar to what you guys said, I mostly just speak Khmer at home with my family. But obviously, I have a lot less practice and exposure because I've been in the US my whole life, basically. Um, yeah, I would say for Khmer, I feel self conscious about my pronunciation. Because I think like there's some words that I learned incorrectly or some words that I just pronounced incorrectly. Like for example, I'm pretty sure until recently I pronounced kyom like incorrectly, and I still don't even know if I like pronounce it incorrectly now. And a funny one is that I used to mispronounce nyai, like yai. Instead of saying like nyai, which is like how you would say it like fast or casually, I would say ayai.
Oh, I thought you meant when you mispronounced things, like you said it the colloquial way. But it
No,
seems like
no,
you
like I
actually
literally would be like,
misplaced.
ayay.
Oh, sounds like you're calling your
Oh,
grandma.
Yeah, and then I somehow my parents didn't make me fix this until I was like a teenager. And I'm like, how did you just let me speak like this for so many years without correcting me?
Oh, that's funny.
wait, Julie, I'm gonna let you finish your thought before, like, because I have a response to what you just said. I don't think it's a
Okay.
mispronunciation, but we can talk about that after you finish your thought.
Ooh, okay.
Or do you want
I
me to respond now?
You might as well respond now.
I think like with knyom and nyom, I think knyom is more like if you want to be proper and like pronounce all how it's like written. But I think in Khmer like you say nyom. But I don't
No,
think
I
it's like
mean, I
wrong to
said
say
it
knyom.
weirder.
How
Oh.
weird.
I said like wait, I don't even know. I can't even do it anymore because I tried to fix it,
Oh,
but
wait.
it was really weird.
Did you say kyom with a like a sayo kyom instead of knyom?
I can't describe it, but you know how like when you say nyom, it's like you're taking the nyo part,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of taking the nyo part and emphasizing that, I skipped over the nyo part and I emphasized the part before that.
Kom?
No, 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 no. I can't even describe. I have to like go look at my recordings of myself, but like it was weird.
Long. Okay. I was
Mm.
gonna say like some singers in Cambodia now, and I know this because I watched like those okay videos on YouTube, and oh my god, some of the female singers go yum with a yo instead of a nyo. Ning yum. Yeah, I know. I was like, am I tripping right now? What is this?
Oh, I
She's
almost can't tell
gaslighting
the
you.
difference. Now I can't remember how I used to say it. That means I fixed it.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay, hello. I just wanted to interject right here and clarify how I was mispronouncing Kim because I went back and looked at videos of myself speaking Khmer and I figured it out now. Yeah, so I would say like Hyum tum piak pi dek, Hyum to sa instead of like Kyum or Nyum. So I don't know, it's weird. But yeah, so I think one of my problems with speaking Khmer is that I don't feel comfortable talking to other people my age because I never really had that exposure. Since the only people I could really do that with are like my cousins in Cambodia, and I didn't really talk to them that often. So basically, I'm only used to talking to like older adults and people much younger than me. Which, as we'll talk about, because of the hierarchy in Khmer language, that makes a difference. And so I actually did ask Thida and Borey about this because I feel like super awkward when trying to talk to other people my age in Khmer. Like, I don't know what to say. Yeah, and then obviously with English, very comfortable with English. But I will say that I mispronounce a lot of words. I think because a lot of the words I know I mostly learned from like reading because my parents don't know like a lot of advanced English vocabulary. And then also, sometimes I just mispronounce things because I learned it from them.
Oh, I think that's cute.
Yeah.
It's like carrying a little bit of your roots with you wherever you go.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
like to think so
common.
too.
I think that's common with like children of immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
We like in college, our blocking group had a discussion about that. Because some people would be like making fun of one of our blockmates for pronouncing things like weirdly, and she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Well, don't blame me. I don't have like white parents, and I learned through like reading a lot."
Yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
think it's common.
Yeah, one of my roommates in college, we kind of like jokingly bonded over it. We were like, just immigrant things.
I love it. It's true.
Yeah.
Um, okay, this is like a little quiz, but it's not a quiz. I recently learned that woman and women are different. So woman, singular, is pronounced woman, And women, plural, is pronounced WIM. Women. Or are you just nodding, Julie? This changed my life.
Because I'm American, so I knew this. I'm sorry.
I didn't know
Wait,
this.
how did you like learn about it?
Um, I think I was like at a law office or something, and I just kept saying like 50 women, and people were like, it's whim, as in like you're like doing something whimsically. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah,
That's a funny
plural, it's
example.
women. I was like, I'm shook.
I could understand why that would be confusing though, because it's spelled the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Except
also
for
thought,
a key A versus E,
No, but
yeah,
like the
yeah,
part that changes is the first syllable
right? Yeah, it's
verbally, but you don't
yeah,
see
interesting.
and
that
I know.
visually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think because no, I relate to Tita because I was like, oh, because it's the difference is like the E and the A. Like I need to emphasize that, and like never really thought about the first syllable. So I completely understand Tita.
Thank you.
Wait, Bori, did you know that before?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
because
okay.
I think I said it wrong when I started my first job too. And then they were like,
Oh,
and because I had told my supervisor that like I really want to like learn to speak better since it's
yeah.
like one of my insecurities, she like would nice like she would nicely correct me when I say something wrong.
That's nice. Yeah.
I wanted to add that um I speak Khmer with my siblings and then with my family because I call them my family in Cambodia, I call them every night. And then I talk to my mom too, but I also noticed that my siblings and we speak English and Khmer sometimes in the same sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So then like sometimes it's hard to like try to have a conversation with like my cousins in Cambodia with just like Khmer, like one sentence in Khmer, because I would try to like switch into English. Um, and I also we us three had a conversation, and we think we speak the same kind of Khmer. I don't know if that makes sense. Like we speak the same kind of Khmer, which maybe young people in Cambodia now think it's like too formal. But I spoke to my great aunt recently in Cambodia, and she said that like we speak fine. And she also hates the way that younger Khmer kids speak Khmer these days. And so I just want to like reassure us that we speak Khmer fine.
Oh,
Um,
thank
we
you,
don't
Bart.
speak it weirdly at all.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested to know when that linguistic transition started to happen.
What is the transition? Like the transition to me speaking Khmer and English in the same
No, not
sentence?
not everything is about you. No, I'm kidding. Um, no, I mean like the way that the younger generation speaks and stuff like that.
Mm,
Like, when did it start to become more and more casual?
Okay, if I were to guess, you know how like we're technically Gen Z, but I don't feel Gen Z. It's Are you not Gen Z?
No, no, I am. But I like to pretend not to be. No, but I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna hit us with this
Oh,
theory.
really? No, it's like the is it actually on our agenda? I have no idea. It's like the turn of like when Gen Z kids like started being ultra Gen Z and just like connected to the internet all the time, and now they don't like speak in full sentences and they sometimes use rude words and I don't fit in.
Wow, it's all Gen Z's fault again.
I only the new generation of Gen Zs. I'm
and
kidding.
I also no, I also think that I feel the same way sometimes with English. Like if I'm not on social media. Like I learn new slangs honestly through like my friends who are always like on the internet because I don't have Instagram. I'm only on Messenger and YouTube. So I also feel like kind of left out sometimes because I'm like, what is this new slang that I don't know? So I think maybe it's like a similar experience.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah, yeah.
agree. I always find things out after the fact. after they've already happened.
I was just gonna say, I like how you guys are like, my friends are chronically online. Not me though.
I'm
I'm
No,
well
different.
adjusted.
I'm different. I'm not like other girls. I'm kidding. I'm always online too, just like on YouTube, which is
Yeah.
a social media. So
Yeah.
that's my poison of choice.
Yeah.
Um, but I also, in terms of like the one annoying thing that my great aunt finds is that like instead of sending voice message, sometimes they would like type out Khmer word in English. And she's like, I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Same.
Either write it in Khmer or send me voice message. But they always do this. This is the new thing that they do. And she hates that. Yeah.
I can't read it. Bong is apparently just BG now. Like
Yeah.
bong, like
Wait,
thank you B or thank you BG, and I was like, what?
yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it just bees?
Oh, sometimes it's just B, and I was like, is this
And I'm like,
person swearing
ooh,
at me? But it's not.
that's
Oh
funny.
Well, how is your reading comprehension in Khmer?
my god, it's like an SAT question, like an LSAT question. I mean, I can read Khmer fine. I read Khmer at like a third grade level, which is like very slowly, and I still have to like sound words out. And I think my biggest
Mhm.
challenge is the fact that there is no spacing between Khmer words. Like sometimes after a phrase you'll put a space, but for me, I don't know where one word begins and where one word ends, and like it's honestly challenging.
Um, I'm illiterate, but I've been trying to learn how to read for like the past, I don't know how many years. I try and then I drop it and then I try again. But I realized that actually I like can read a little if I force myself to. And I think this goes back to like how I read in English too. So I never learned how to read sounding words out.
Mm.
I just kind of look at the word and I'm like, what do I think this word is? And that's how I read Khmer too. And my dad thinks I'm really weird because I feel like spelling out words or sounding out words to like pronounce or read it is a lot more integral to like Khmer than it is to English even. And I just don't, I can't. So like if I ask my dad to help me read something, he'll be like, oh, let's sound it out. And I'll be like, that makes it even harder for me
Oh my
somehow.
gosh.
So the way that I read is I just look at the word and I'm like, what vibes am I getting from this sentence? And so I just guess what the word is based on the context
Oh my god.
sometimes. Or I guess what word it is, and then I verify by going back and looking at the letters. And I'm like,
Huh.
confirmed it's that word. But I think that's really weird and unhinged.
That has to be
Yeah.
type of it reading probably has different like modes or something. You're just in a different mode of reading. You're in like advanced mode.
I don't know. My dad will love it if I tell this story.
Tell it.
Um, he loves to tell everyone that I learned to read when I was 3.5. And there wasn't like a learning curve. He just like noticed one day that I was like mumbling to myself while holding this book. And he was like, oh, she's pretending to read. And then he was like, hey, can you read it to me? And I was like, okay. And then I just like read the book to him. And he was like, what?
Wait, I'm having the same reaction. What?
Yeah, so I don't know. He was like, oh, I thought you just like memorized the words because I had like read it to you before, but I honestly hadn't read it that often. But then I realized that you could read
In English or in
in
Khmer?
English.
Wait. Oh, okay, okay.
But I did memorize some Khmer words too when I was little because my dad used to play karaoke a lot. And my favorite singer was Ming Cao Pichina.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
memorized what her name looked like so I could know when she was next on
Oh,
the
that's
DVD.
so
Oh.
sweet. Oh.
But that doesn't really count. Yeah.
For me, I started reading at like very young, like 3 or 4.
Mhm.
And I think it was through like my great aunt. she's really passionate about like education and stuff like that. She only got to like fourth grade in school because she's like the oldest sibling, but she would read newspaper to me every day. That's how I was like exposed to Khmer. And then I skipped like first grade and then went straight to second, third, fourth, skipped fifth, sixth, went to eighth, ninth, eight, seventh, eighth, and ninth. So I guess like, and I took the test to go to high school. So I'm at that level. And I think one of the hard transition from like fifth, no, fourth grade to seventh grade was the fact that in seventh grade you started like learning, like you started reading novels, and I feel like the words are more complicated. Like to describe a sunset, they don't just say like sunset, they say like this weird long thing that just means sunset too. And then I also find it annoying that like if I read official notice, the words are so formal and like pretentious
Yeah,
in Khmer.
can't understand them.
And like
Yeah.
I understand it, but at the same time, like why just say it like normally the way that would like we would say it to each other. And
Yeah.
so I think I find that like kind of annoying and pretentious. And then sometimes I don't like understand what they're trying to say either
Mm-hmm.
because like I think I'm not I'm not exposed to that language every
Yeah.
day,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
Two things. So, Julie, you know how you said like when you read English, you just sort of see the word and like get vibes from it? Um, I know I was
Not
laughing at you.
always, but yeah.
Not always, but I know I was laughing at you, but I have a similar experience of like in English, and I think you both probably do this too because, we're advanced English readers. Like you don't
Mm-hmm.
go word by word, you just kind of look at it and then you absorb the words, and like sometimes it's not even in order, and then you understand what the sentence
Yeah,
means. I think, yeah,
that's
I
true.
I saw a YouTube video on this. I'm also chronically on YouTube. I saw a YouTube video on it, and like they're just saying like, oh, like, you don't like read word by word because that's a lot of effort. You just sort of look at something and then you absorb it. But that's not my experience in with reading Khmer. Like with Khmer, I do have to go word by word, and I. But the weird thing is, if I force myself to sort of like look at the whole sentence and then absorb it, I understand it and it like goes by faster. But it's just not something that I can read
Oh,
aloud. You know what I'm saying? If it's just
yeah.
me
Yeah.
understanding, I can like look at the thing and like, oh, like be done with it. But if I do have to read it aloud, I have to go word by word, and it takes longer.
Yeah.
No, I do that too. I think I only sound it out when I don't know the word, and then I try to like pronounce it. I was like, how to like ask my family what it means, then I have to like
Mm-hmm.
sound it out. But usually you don't. You don't. I think once you're like really familiar with the language, you just kind of like read it in your head.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And also, I think all three of us probably started reading at a really young age because I also like learned how to read, I guess like when I was 2 or 3, and it was like
Oh
my
my gosh.
grandmother. Yeah, like this is crazy. Oh my god, my
Wow.
grandmother
We're
was
all
just
INFJ.
we were
We're
all
all like
Yeah,
yeah,
this is getting
we're
weird.
just the same person. My grandma read newspapers to me, and by
Oh,
3 years old, I could read, and
the
they tried
newspaper?
to. Yeah, but like it was
Oh
like
my
one by
god.
one, like hi Ankia, hi Mitnia, and stuff like that. It's
Wait,
like,
that's
yeah.
why she sounds like a news reporter. She's been
Oh my
training since she
god,
was 3.
I'm dead. That is not why, but it's too funny. Grandma like got ផ្ញើខ្ញុំនៅសាលាអញ្ចឹងទៅនៅហើយផ្ញើនៅថ្នាក់ទី 1. So like in the first grade, like these 6, 7 year olds were learning things, and like I was like, I already know that. I'm like 3, and it was like messed up.
Oh
Like
my
that really
gosh.
just fed into my ego. Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my god, I'm in awe of
I
both of
also
you.
think that like the skipping grades would not happen in America, but like I'm glad I was like able to skip grades because I was bored out of my mind. Like so I yeah, I think I would have been really bored if I were raised in the
Oh my
US
god.
and had like the same experience because I don't think the US would let you skip like 2, 3 times
They have a different system
Mm-hmm.
of
because I
yeah.
skipped like
I
yeah.
did know someone who skipped like 2 grades at once,
Wow.
but I haven't
No, because
heard
I
of like
skipped like fourth,
multiple.
fifth.
Yeah.
I skipped
How
fourth,
is
fifth,
that
and then I also skipped
possible?
first grade.
Wow.
You
How
know.
are we the same
I know,
age?
right?
Or like
I
about the
know,
same age?
because my friends are usually like 2 years older than me. They're
Mm,
like they were born in
mhm.
1997.
Oh,
And then
okay.
some people would skip one grade, so then they're like 1998. So like I never had friends my age
Mhm.
growing up. It was only until like I moved to the US that I finally had like friends my age.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so like in America, in the US, if you were to go to school and like you were quote unquote ahead of your peers or something, they wouldn't really want you to skip a grade. They would just put you in a harder class. So it's like advanced stuff, but in the same grade,
Oh, really?
right? It's like, I'm talking about
Yeah,
high
so
school,
it's like
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know how like, they don't
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really,
high
'cause
school.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then the thing is like in the US they go by age, so you're surrounded by peers your age, but in Cambodia they'll like flunk you. So sometimes like
Mm-hmm.
you're just with people who've repeated the same grade like 5 times but are way older.
yeah. I
Yeah.
also think that it's weird because like with you know how I was gonna anyways, they only put me in like advanced math. So I was like 2 years advanced in math, but like everything else was like at the same level as like my peers, and then we had like AP
Mhm.
classes. So I think the educational system, we can talk about it at another time, but it's like
Way different.
different than in
Interesting.
like in
Interesting.
Mhm.
Cambodia, yeah.
Um, Going back, I just wanted to add this in. Um, about the reading thing. I don't want to make it sound like I'm like a genius or something and I can just read words in Khmer without like cop. But I think that my problem is actually that I don't know the names of the letters. So even if I try to cop, I can't.
What? How have you been
Oh no
reading?
no no, Julie, Julie, I completely
I just
understand.
I
No,
just
I
I'm
completely
like I know
understand.
what sound this kind of makes. So then I just look at it and I'm like, "Mhm.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
says
that's
grow."
no, that's how I feel too because this is embarrassing. But so you know how I said I skipped grade? So then in seventh grade, my teacher made me like stand up and like try to say all like go, and I
Oh,
couldn't.
Oh.
Bori.
I couldn't. And then everyone was like laughing at me. It was really
Oh,
traumatizing.
Oh
So then I went back
no.
home and then I like learned everything. So I only learned the letters in seventh grade because like I didn't have to do that when I skipped to second grade because I
Oh my
skipped first grade, and I
gosh.
think they taught us about that in first grade. So I
Oh.
didn't learn that. And then third, fourth, like no one said anything. So then when I skipped to seventh, I don't know why the Khmer teacher like made me stand up and do like
oh
gall
my
call, and
God.
then I couldn't. It was really embarrassing. But like Julie, I understand. I
Wow.
like they thought my classmates thought I was like a freak for be like for knowing how to like read, but like not knowing all the letters.
I am,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's like the brain does what it can with what it has. I was gonna say, it's like you progressed past the need for the alphabet.
Wow. I know I'm like making fun of you too, but I also don't know the Khmer alphabet. But I think it's like it's because like I forget it and like 33 consonants. Are you kidding me? We're getting into
No,
writing
I
Khmer.
mostly know the consonants, but to be honest, I never learned the
There are
vowels.
24, right?
I just guess
Girl, I'm
what the
buying you the
vowels are.
posters. I'm buying you to the
Thank you,
posters
Borey.
when I come back from
That's
sleep.
gonna be
I'll
your
put it on my
souvenir.
wall.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay,
I'm gonna,
I
yeah.
I have another comment from earlier. I was bad at interjecting, so I'm saying it now. I'm sorry. Um, about what Boris said about the words being super complicated and stuff like that. I see why it would be annoying, but I kind of think it's beautiful. I like it. I like because I feel like it has like the essence of like the history of the language embedded in it and like the culture, and so I think that's very cool, even though it's very complicated.
Yeah. The word that
Yeah.
comes to mind is like barmai. Barmai. See, I have a problem with my
Mhm.
R's. But like, how would you
Mhm.
translate barmai to English? It's like power. And then I see some people translating it as like magical power, but it's not really magical power. Like if
Ooh,
someone has like
yeah.
barmai, it's like, how do you translate that? I don't know. Okay, so how's your writing?
My writing is fine. I think I was looking at my writings before I left Cambodia at age 13, and they're much prettier. Now
Mm.
they're like fine. Like I don't write like, like what Brian would write. Sorry, Brian is my baby brother. Like I don't write like a kid, but it's like because I didn't have time to improve on my writing, it just kind of like it's like people can read it, but it's not as pretty as I would like it to be.
Wait, are you talking about your script, like your
Yes,
handwriting? Oh, what about like writing? Like can you still write in Khmer?
I can still write in Khmer, but I'm much slower.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cause like like you know how I said like I finished ninth grade, took like the exam to go to high school. You
Mhm.
need to learn. You need to write fast. Like I mean everything is
Mm,
written, right?
Oh.
So I was
Yeah.
really fast. Like it was like as if like I was writing English now, you know. But because
wow.
I haven't practiced it in that kind of environment, I write like really slowly. So I'm
Mhm.
embarrassed about that too.
You shouldn't be embarrassed. Oh my God, you
No.
know two languages fluently, Borey. But
And she
yeah, I
speaks
was.
French.
Oh my God, you speak French? What?
Oui, oui.
I'm dead.
uh,
Can't.
I can't write Khmer. I can type Khmer, and I can write like simple things like my name or like nham chang nham bai. Like I can write that. I can type more than I can write, and by
I
type I mean
cannot
like on the
type.
phone. What?
I cannot type.
I
Typing
still
is hard.
struggle. It is no, it is really hard. Not the letters aren't where you expect them to be, and
Yeah,
like
exactly. Okay.
yeah, and like I'm learning every day that there are new consonants or vowels.
Oh no, I mean like not on your phone, 'cause like in like when I was learning Khmer in
Mm,
Cambodia, like we don't really use computer. And also
right.
I
Oh.
remember like our computer lab class, um, the keyboard, like there's like a printout of the keyboard with like Khmer letters on it. And I was like, I'm
Yeah,
not
I
gonna
can't do that.
remember, like I'm not gonna memorize that.
Yeah.
So like I can't type like on my laptop to like do like documents and stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing that,
Wow. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I
I
meant
can
on
only
my
write.
phone.
I
Yeah, like
mean,
on my phone I can text.
We're
Sorry, I should probably
really
shouldn't say type.
starting at the basic level here.
I
At least for
know.
me. Yeah.
How's your writing, Julie?
Well, I feel like non-existent. I can spell really, really basic words with like no
Hmm.
vowel. Almost.
No vowels?
Like, because some of the vowels are included with the consonants, so you don't need
What?
like
Wait,
additional
wait, what are you
vowels.
talking about?
Like bong
Oh,
and baba. Those are the words I can spell. And like I can only really simple like baby words.
that's
And then
cute.
I think typing is really hard even on the phone. I can't find where the letters are. I literally have to stare at it
Yep, same.
and just sometimes I have to go to the next keyboard and
Mm-hmm.
then go back and like
Yeah,
keep looking.
yeah.
um yeah, and then writing, my handwriting is ugly. And I feel like when you see like people's handwriting in Khmer, it looks so beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
but also like I can't read it because I think that it looks a lot different from like printed text, at
Oh
least to
yeah.
me. Yeah. And then I can't figure out how they're writing it like that stylistically. Like I can't do it. I probably write like a kindergartner or something
It's
if I
okay.
try. Yeah, because I've tried to like practice writing down like lyrics and stuff like that for like practice. And it takes me a long time and it doesn't look that nice.
Aw. I mean, my writing is at third grade. My writing reading at third grade, and this pertains to both like handwriting and the stuff that I can write about. And that's like not a lot because I think there's a big difference between like third and fourth grade, and a big gap between fourth and fifth grade. So I'm basically like just a baby.
Oh,
it's okay. As long as you guys can communicate, I think that's all that matters.
that's true.
I
Thank you,
also
Corey.
wanted to say something about how, like, I hope one day Apple will come out with like MacBook with like Khmer keyboard, because now they have like Chinese, like you can when you like order a
Yeah.
MacBook ha like now they have like Chinese keyboard, Korean keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
Spanish, and like one day maybe they will make like a Khmer keyboard.
I have an idea for like a small business.
So innovative.
You can make really cute like my keyboard stickers.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you think people would use it? I mean, office workers would use it, but like, do you think just regular people would use my keyboard?
Okay. I guess it's not profitable, but I want it as an option.
I know. I was just thinking about how like now we're moving on to another topic of like Khmer people don't like using voice messages.
No, but I mean like you're because for the why would Apple make MacBooks with Khmer keyboard then? I feel like that's even more of an investment.
Right? So that's why I was like,
Yeah.
I hope one day, but I don't think they would do it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, as Borey was alluding to, there's actually an article that came out in 2021 um, that found that about 50% of Facebook Messenger audio messages are from Cambodia. And in the article, they were like so puzzled as to why, but we know why, and we're going to tell you. Does anyone want to?
Venture a guest. Guess.
A guest.
I was reading something else. Venture a guess. Well, I think okay. The Khmer language is like incredibly ornate. It's not comparable to like English at all because I think English has a very basic structure. You know, the vowels and consonants are both in the 26 letter alphabet, whereas Khmer has, 33 consonants, 24 vowels, extra characters, numbers that look like letters. And I think writing it out is like difficult, whereas speaking it, is easier. And also another thing, if you write Khmer, if you like translate something from English to Khmer, the Khmer version would probably be twice as long, because it involves a lot more like characters and stuff like that. And I think like essentially Khmer is a very descriptive language. So what Bori was saying earlier about like sunset not being just like sunset, it's like lit or something. It's literally like the sun is dipping, like the sun is like falling below the horizon and stuff like that. So I think how descriptive the language is plays into how difficult it is to write it as well and how long it
Mm-hmm.
gets.
And I think also compared to English, Khmer or like the written Khmer language is I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's an Abugida. So it's different from like an alphabet as we know it as English speakers. Um, because if you know about Khmer, there's like the letters can be added to the top, to the bottom, like so, jung, and all of that. And so writing it is like a lot more complicated than writing English is.
Yeah.
Um, like there's so many like you like add on the letters and alter the sound in a way that is crazy, I think, compared to English in a
Yeah.
good way.
In a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna tie it back to um, the reason why people use voice messages. It's just easier. Okay, never mind. Cut that out. That didn't add anything. I thought I had more to say. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut.
I'm gonna keep it in just because.
No.
Are there Khmer sounds that you want to share? Like quintessential Khmer sounds that Khmer people will make?
Oh, wait. That's what this means.
Yes.
Okay, I got some. Okay, number one. Oi. Number two. Yee. I could go more, but those are like the ones that come to mind.
What? I
Is
was
that
like
what
so
you
impressed.
meant?
Yes, yes. I was
Okay.
so impressed that you had a list, but do you have more beyond those two?
I mean, I could just like spitball.
Yeah,
Mm, that's that's related to ye.
yeah. Can you explain the context or is this it?
Oi is like an expression of pain, I guess I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Like ouch.
Mm-hmm.
And then ye or is like a sound of disapproval.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for my third sound, I would say maybe like chi. But I don't know if that's just my family. Is that a sound that other people make?
I don't think my family makes it.
Okay, it's just my family. I think it's probably related to English, like geez. I don't know.
Mm,
You guys, what are your sounds?
I think you hit the quintessential Khmer sounds. I don't really have more to add. We didn't prepare for this.
I have words that I think don't exist in English. I have a whole list.
Okay, yes. Julie, go.
Okay. And then you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. If you think it does exist in English. The word choi.
Yeah, chingoi, like if something smells good, like fragrant.
Yeah, because it's like a specific type of fragrant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess, what would you describe as choi?
I mean, if it were like, perfume that smells really good, you can say like, oh, chingoi
Mm-hmm.
wrong. But then, like, I think it describes food more often. Chingoi, yeah, like that smells so good, like something you want to eat.
I don't know why, but what comes to mind for me is like fried garlic. That's
Yeah.
choi. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my next word is taloan.
Yes, I don't know
Because
how
I
to
want
say
to
that.
say that a lot to people, but there's no way to translate that in English without like having to explain the word.
Yeah, like the loan or tom. I think like those two are like used when something's so
Mm.
rich that you can't have it anymore, or you eat something so often that you get sick of it. But there's no word. It's just like describing what the word is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, I think a few of these are more cultural. I was thinking the word chlöi, but I guess that could be rude, but I feel like, I don't know, does it feel more nuanced than rude to you?
I don't think it's rude to say someone is like chilly.
Okay. Then then it's a valid word.
Yeah,
Well, how would you translate it?
someone who's like disobedient, kind
Or
of.
disrespectful, I was
Full.
thinking. I don't
Yeah, but
know.
it's not exact translation.
The next word is map. Guys, you have to comment. Comment.
I'm commenting, which is just me staring blankly.
Map, I would say, is like bad karma,
Hmm.
Yep.
but that's a much clunkier way of saying map.
Yeah, I think bab is like used in such a casual context. Like
Yeah,
sometimes
like
it's
so
funny to tell kids,
often.
yeah, like
Yeah.
bab, like it's used as a threat, but it actually means something pretty serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also in religious. It's like a religious word
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
too, but like we just use it casually, just because like Cambodian is a deeply like religious slash Buddhist like society. We even have
Yeah.
like religious holidays, something we can talk about in future
Yeah. I
episodes.
wouldn't even say that it's like sin because it's more karma
Yeah,
related than
I
sin.
agree.
But I guess like that's the equivalent maybe in like Christianity. Um and then my next word is galong, which is I feel like really specific. And then I have to try to like explain this to people. Cuz you know how it's mapped to galong, like your elders, to like step over someone's body
Oh,
part or something like that.
I thought you meant literally like go along like over a doorway or something, and I was like, then you just go over.
Wait, wait. Did it not make sense?
No,
No,
I'm
it
just
makes sense.
understanding that you're using
Okay.
the figurative meaning of the word, which makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Hmm.
Sorry. Yeah, cuz I feel like at least for me, I'm like a big rule follower. So, I don't even like to galong my friends who are like slightly older than me.
Oh, same. How do you think I feel?
I know, like I feel like the other day I had to like step over someone who was like a couple years older than me. It felt so wrong.
Oh my gosh.
But it would have been weird and more work for me to be like, "Can you please move your legs?" And then
Mm,
they'd be like, "Why are you making me move my legs? You can just step over me." Anyway,
mm. Oh, you did mean the
just
literal
Cambodian
sense. I
problems.
have no idea
Oh,
what's
well,
happening.
like, yeah. Yeah. Did it
Thida,
not
you
make
just make
sense?
my
Now
sound.
I'm
You
worried.
just No, no, it makes sense. I was just like Tina was making Khmer sound because she's like, oh.
Oh.
Chẳng ạ.
um,
Okay.
uh,
I could keep going or I can stop.
Is piruh on your list? Like if a bạn ng piruh,
Oh,
like it sounds good, it
no.
sounds nice, but piruh doesn't have like an equivalent in English.
Yeah.
I also want to wrap up this like word list because Julie could keep going, as we all know, right?
Yeah. Can I
But I want
please
to wrap
do
up. I'm
one more? Oh,
sorry.
you want to do.
Yes.
Sorry. Cut
No,
it out.
you do, and then I can wrap the
Okay.
thing with like
Mm.
another word. Okay.
Okay. I want to include this one because I asked my mom for suggestions, so I would be remiss if I didn't include what she told me. So, one thing that I think is interesting is that I feel like Khmer words have a lot more nuance than English words. Or there's like, for example, for the word choking in English, there's so many different varieties in Khmer, like ul, slat, chlu. Yeah. So slat is like more what you would think as choking in English. Chlu is like choking on liquid specifically. And then ul, I'm not really sure how to translate it.
I don't even know. It's like when it's like so dry, your esophagus is so dry and you need water and you're just
Yeah.
thumping on your chest.
So also, like, I thank you for bringing that up because my mom had that problem and she was trying to tell me how to like tell the doctor that, and I was like, when you like eat like or like I don't know, it could also be
Yeah.
like when you eat food too fast, you feel like I don't know how to describe it, so I like tried different ways to like explain it to the doctor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like because or it can also be like when you eat so fast that you're like I don't know,
Can't
Yeah.
breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like out of
but
breath. It's so hard to explain.
yeah. Thank you, Julie, for bringing that up. And then I want to like wrap up this like word list by kind of referring to our last episode. Um, it, the term crew, like crew Khmer, like crew, like you can say translate as teacher, but it's not really like a teacher as we talked about in that episode. Like it could be a shaman, but it's not really a I don't know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you guys think of
Yeah.
the word like crew Khmer, crew?
There's no equivalent. I think I was speaking to someone in my office, weirdly enough, and they were like, medium. And I was like, what? A medium? I guess so,
Like
in essence, but
both, kind of like
both.
medium
Yeah.
and shaman. Because honestly, I am a testament to the fact that this word doesn't exist in English because I don't really know what it actually means. Like I feel like I have like an idea, but a very vague idea because I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah. Nuance is right.
Hmm. I think thinking about pronouns in Khmer versus English is very interesting to me because I think right now we're going through like a linguistic revolution, so to say, um, as to how we approach pronouns in English. Um, and even just like when you're trying to describe someone whose gender you don't know or aren't sure about in English, traditionally it's been just like he or she and stuff like that. And nowadays people are using they more as like a gender neutral pronoun. But then like some people who are like sticklers for English grammar will argue that they is like a plural pronoun. I don't know. But what I like in Khmer is that you can just say "god" and it's respectful because it's like we didn't really touch upon the hierarchy, but it's sort of like respecting and honoring the person, and it's also gender neutral, so it makes it a lot easier.
I don't think we have like gender pronouns the way that French does, for example. Like in French, if it's like a feminine thing, it's like la something. And then if it's like a masculine word, then it would be like le something like that. I don't think we have something like that or something similar like that in Khmer, but please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think that the like gendering of nouns and things like that is probably specific to like certain languages, like Romance languages and stuff like that. But what I think is interesting about Khmer is that to me, I feel like there's a much stronger emphasis on hierarchy than there is on defining a specific gender. And this isn't like across the board because we still have like words that are gendered and obviously like gender construct in Khmer culture. Like even saying like yes is different for females versus males, etc. But um for example, like bong is not gendered. I mean, there's like an assumption usually that like or implication that bong is like male, I guess if it's not specified, but I feel like in everyday usage, if you say like, oh, bong, well, this person, it's going to be like you don't know if it's a male or a female, you just know that it's an older sibling, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to add that like bong can be used in regular contexts, like the older sibling of someone. It can be speaking to an older person or like an older friend in general, like you wouldn't call them by their names. It's like blasphemy that
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling you Julie and calling Bori Bori. Um, I still feel like weird about it. And like when I talk about you to my family or like to my mom, I say bong Julie or bong Borai. I don't say Julie and Bori because it's
Aw,
not in here. It's not encoded.
I'm
Oh
honored.
no, I'm serious. And then I mean it can also be in a romantic context, right? Like if you call a guy who you don't really know well, Bong, Bori's like gagging. If you call a guy you don't know well, Bong, it can be like interpreted in a different way than you mean it. Like you might mean like, "Hey, older person," but they might interpret it as like, "Oh my God, you're flirting with me," or like you're pursuing
Oh
something in a romantic
gosh.
context. In which case, who came up with boo zoning? Wait, I don't want to
It
take
was
credit for
me.
it. Julie, say more.
Sometimes you meet an older man and you're not interested in him romantically, but you're trying to be respectful, so you call him boo. And this happened to me on the plane. And I was trying to boost zone him, so to say, but he wasn't having it and he was referring to himself as bong.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God.
okay. He was like, next time you're in Phnom Penh, bong will take you out for ktiyo.
Oh, ew.
I also want to add another context of like calling someone mong. I think a lot of salespeople do that just to like be nice. So if and it's really jarring for me because I think because I left Cambodia at 13, whenever I'm back in Cambodia, I still feel like I'm 13, even though now I'm like 24. But people would be like, oh bong trong nhâm ấy ngày ni, or like, oh
Mm-hmm.
bong think ao nhôm, stuff like that. And then I would call them bong too, and they're like, what? Because they look older than me, and so I would just be like, hi, like bong, calling them bong too. Um, but yeah, people like salespeople like to try to like be nice to you and polite. They call you bong, and then I also like not flirting, but more kind of just like trying to flatter some family member or like
Mm-hmm.
some family friends. I would call them like bong, and sometimes they do actually look really young, like someone that I could call bong, and then they're like, don't call me that, call me
I
Ming,
know.
you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But and I also the reason why I was gagging in terms of like calling bong in romantic relationship is just like sometimes, not speaking from personal experience, but sometimes the guy would be like younger than you, but like he would still insist on calling himself bong and then calling you own and then making you say like own, referring to yourself as like own. And like I never, like it's weird to like make someone refer to themselves own when they're like actually you're older than you,
Yeah,
like it's just
yeah.
weird.
I've seen this in action. It wasn't, I don't think it was like insisting that they're called long, but I was like, why are you assuming these traditional roles when she's 3 years older than you? Well, how are you calling her own? She is not your own. She is your bong.
Well, that was a lot, and I'm sure we're going to continue talking about language, particularly accents, in the next episode.
Hint,
Spoiler.
hint.
Hint, hint. We may or may not have a guest. But any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'm really glad that we did this episode. I love learning languages and I love thinking about languages. And I feel really grateful that I can speak Khmer at least at like whatever level that I can speak it at.
No, I was gonna say that like it does like I was gonna say something about like how I don't know, just I don't think it's just Cambodian, but like other Asian countries also feel like really, like honored when someone like put in effort to like learn their language. Um, and like I hope that like this episode doesn't like intimidate people too much from like learning Khmer if they want to. Maybe one day Duolingo will have Khmer on there. It's hard, but it's rewarding. And like I've seen, I mean, if you have gone to Cambodia, you probably have seen like some white people, maybe they work for the embassy, that like speak fluent Khmer. So it's doable. I don't want this episode to scare people away from learning the language. It's a beautiful language.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even if you say stuff in like broken Khmer, we would feel like extremely honored that you put in the effort to do that.
And also, I feel like if anyone would want to learn Khmer, my suggestion, unsolicited, is to learn how to speak it. Because I feel like speaking is how you really get connected to the locals. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking teaches you like the difference between, the formal sort of language that I would use in a professional context versus something that I can say like, in the everyday vernacular. Like, how would I say this word? I wouldn't say like, som jumriapsua. You would just say like jumriapsua, and like it's
Mm-hmm.
easier to connect with locals once you understand the context of words and like how to say them and stuff. So yeah, definitely, it's not hard to get started, and I do hope more people learn our language. And yeah,
Yeah. And to all the overseas Khmer people out there, it's never too late to learn. You should learn it. It's a great language, and learning Khmer is going to open a lot more opportunities for you to connect with Khmer culture and history and people, and it's beautiful. So it's never too late.
And with that, that wraps up our second episode. We hope you enjoyed tuning in. I don't know about you, but I feel like I learned so much from Tida and Julie. And, we would love to hear about your experience, whether like you were born and raised in Cambodia or you were born and raised in the US. We would love to hear about your experience learning languages, or just, give us a feedback in general about how we did in this episode.
Thank you for listening, and feel free to connect with us at Still Khmer Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. You can also email us at stillkhmerpodcast@gmail.com with any suggestions for future topics or any comments that you want to contribute.
and with that, we'll see you next month. Bye bye.